Hi, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne Brad, and today I've got a project for you which ticks all the boxes. It's a bit sustainable, it's a treat for your pets, it's virtually indestructible. I can't say it's indestructible because I don't know, but it's one of those things. If you've got a dog that likes to chew and, somebody will buy a toy for Christmas and they'll turn around 5 minutes later and it's in pieces on the floor. It's a dog bone, it's a denim dog bone made out of old pairs of jeans. But it's a Russian doll dog bone. So inside this bone is another bone, and inside that bone is another bone, and inside that bone is a whole load of denim scraps. And the point of it is hopefully by the time your dog's chewed a hole through that denim, rather than all that fibre filling out, coming out and going all over your carpet, you've got time to spot it before he gets to chew through the next layer and the next layer, so you can patch it up. I'm going to put some bone templates in the description below. I'm going to make the smallest one to start with. I tend to find with my templates, the easiest way to do them is if you trace them onto thin card and then draw around them on the reverse of your fabric, and you use that drawn line as a stitching guide. You don't use it as a seam allowance. Because that way, especially when you've got fiddly shapes, like the indentations of this bone, you get a much more accurate stitch. I'm using a soft orange colour pencil on this so I can see what I'm doing. Yep, that's all the way around. And I'm just going to fold it on half. I am cheating. This isn't from a pair of jeans, this piece. This is actually an offcut from a dressmaking project. But as you can see with this is the seam on jeans legs. And it's quite nice to keep those seams in the toy because it gives your dog an extra biting point. So we'll just pin these together. And you start stitching on a straight edge just with about a 2.5mm straight stitch. Lock it in place. And when you get to a curve, keep the needle in, lift the foot and turn the fabric so that your fabric can pivot on the needle. And this doesn't have to be the most accurate bit of stitching in the world. You know, if your dog is that much of a connoisseur that he's going to turn his nose up at a dodgily stitched seam, then you've spoilt your dog. And the other thing you'll notice that I've done is I haven't cut this pattern out of this fabric. I'm sewing it as a block because it's so much easier. You've got more fabric to hold on to and less chance of your two pieces of fabric slipping away from each other and you missing a seam on the back. So we'll just roughly cut this out. Before I turn this inside out, I just want to run a bit of glue, and it's all right, I've checked, this is non-toxic, this glue. I'm just going to glue the gap opening back on itself so that when I turn it inside out and stuff it, it's not so prone to fraying. And it also means that it's much easier when you've finished. And turn it out. So I said don't throw your scraps away because there's always a use for them. And this is what that use is. Chop them into small, and the reason you need to sort of chop them into not too long pieces is if your dog does eventually get into the inside of this bone, you don't want him to swallow or choke on large pieces of fabric. And then you use all those offcuts, stuff your bone with. It's not as easy as fibre filling because they don't hold together as you stuff them in. But it's much more eco-friendly, it's much more sustainable, and it's much better for your dog to chew on a bit of denim than to chew on a wad of polyester fibre filling that I don't know for sure, I'm not a vet, but I'm pretty sure it could do severe damage to its digestive system. So I have a whole bag here of denim offcuts, and you don't need to hard stuff it. In fact, it's easier to do the next steps if it's not hard stuffed, But you just need it to be stuffed enough that your dog's got something to literally get his teeth into. So I'm going to stuff this. So I've stuffed my bone with all those scraps of denim. And then I'm just going to simply over sew. And for those of you that watch me on a regular basis, you'll notice for a change, I'm actually not using white thread. I'm using a thread that matches the project. A project for my dog who's colourblind and won't even know if I'm using matching thread or white thread. And you'll see it's not very hard stuffed. You've got stuffing in the ends there, so he's got something to bite into. But you don't want it very hard stuffed because with the templates, you make 2 more dog bone shapes that are slightly bigger than one another. And this is the fun part, and this is when you make these dog bone shapes, leave yourself enough of a turning gap, because now what you've got to do is push this stuffed bone inside this casing. And then again, what you would do is you would sew up, in fact I will quickly sew up that seam because it will make it much easier to stuff this shape into the largest one. And you can see what I mean by when I glue down my edges of my turning gap, because it gives you a definite 2 sides to sew together. And then you just finally need to push that bone into this bone. It's in. And this is why I reiterate, don't stuff that first bone too hard in the first place. And you can flatten it out inside, and obviously you would stitch up this gap as well. So you should end up with a bone that has got layers, so it's got plenty that your dog can hold on to. There's plenty of texture in there. They're great for keeping your dog's teeth clean. And as I say, I mean, I tend not to leave my dog unaccompanied for too long with something like a chew toy. But if your dog just does like to lay down overnight and chew and chew and chew, you've got half a chance of spotting when he's chewed a hole in it before it's got through to the middle and he's got the stuffing out. So I hope you like that video. I hope you like the other dog-related videos that we've got. Have a search through our channel. There's plenty of ideas there for you. Please subscribe. Please check in with us on Facebook as well. I'll always try and answer any questions if I can, or put comments under this video because it's great to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your crafting. We'll see you again very, very soon. Thanks for watching. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.